Hey guys, my name is Bando. This is Progressive Bando. I apologise. I'm still really struggling to breathe with this thing that's going on, this respiratory thing. So if I'm hacking and sucking down air a lot, I do apologise. I just thought this was important. I thought this was a topic that was worth the discomfort. So there was a recent post on, I believe, Reddit of a demon prince, chaos demon prince, which was a Slaneshi demon prince with a barbed part of its anatomy. And this has this has kind of, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for. This has brought to my attention a little bit of an issue, and that issue is a certain part of the community. And a lot of these sorts of people, they hang out in places like the Emperor's Children Discord, they hang out on Reddit, they hang out in groups like Imagine Warhammer, and there's a couple of them who are in several other Discords, such as, what's it called? Crusade and Heresy has got a couple of people like this. And it's pretty common in most Discords. And that's these people that seem to just obsess over the not safe for work stuff. I mean, if you go on Discord, nearly every single Discord you come across will always have a not safe for work channel. And you'll always have fan art that is not really appropriate, and you'll have models that aren't really appropriate. And the same sorts of people also seem to be the ones that are always saying things like, oh, you don't need to worry about these, things in your hobby, it's a hobby meant for children. And my issue here is that those two ideas cannot coexist, in my mind. You can either have adult content, or you can have content which is designed to be around kids. And I don't believe that you can have the two together realistically. I'm saying this because, and I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to provide screenshots. Basically, on the Emperor's Children Discord, there was a discussion about the sort of appropriateness of models like this. And it's not the first time that this has come up. There is quite a famous model that is often referred to as the sexual assault defiler, to put it politely. And it is a defiler that depicts several people being sexually assaulted. And, okay, yeah, that's pretty grimdark. It's, accurate for the setting. It's not very nice, but, if we're adults, that's the sort of thing we can have that discussion about. This is not something that should be shown to children. And one of the members of this Discord was quite adamant that they would. They'd be fine with showing it to children. In fact, they'd want to show it to children. And that really is worrying. Because, I don't have kids myself, but I have friends who have kids. In fact, one of my closest friends has just welcomed her second as of today. So, yeah, I have friends who have children. I have friends who have young children, teenagers. And there are certain topics that we shouldn't really introduce to children. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. My brain is a little foggy. But basically, as I've grown up, I've started to realise that a lot of the more childish things that I thought were funny, while some of them are still funny, are most definitely inappropriate. And I think that I've definitely started to notice in the last couple of years that there is a group of people that struggle with the idea of what is appropriate around children. Now, I'm not assigning malice to anyone. I'm not saying that these people are, predators, I guess is the correct term to use. But it is suspect, to say the least. There is a difference between showing a teenager something and showing a younger, a preteen something. Like showing someone, I don't know, like the grim dark elements of 40k. Something like what the guy inside a dreadnought looks like, or Lilith Hesperex's model, that sort of thing. There's a big difference between that and showing them a monster that has a 6 foot long barbed cock, because that's a little messed up. When I used to work at Games Workshop on a Sunday, we would regularly have parents drop off kids. Quite regularly. That was what we did on a Sunday. It was called Beginner's Club. Basically, kids came along, they brought what models they had, 1 or 2 units, and great big game in the middle of, in the store, back when, in-store gaming was au fait. And yeah, you'd have regular veterans turn up, regular people, which was great. Now, I don't know how that would go if I knew that my regular veterans were, for lack of a better word, weirdos. And frankly, that is the correct term to use. If someone wants to show overtly sexual stuff, and I don't care about the nature of it, if it, whether it's, what orientation it is, what team you bat for, etc. That has no impact on this whatsoever. If you came out with your Space Marine model with its giant fake tits, green stuff to the front of it, that's just as much of a problem as, everything else. I don't need, there was actually a Slaneshi, I think it was a Land Raider, which had the lady parts sculpted into the assault ramp that was going around the internet many years ago. That's equally as inappropriate. And if we are going to say that this is a hobby for children, then we have to act like it is a hobby for children. Or we have to admit that it's not a hobby for children and then start treating it like an adult hobby. And if it wants to be an adult hobby, if people want it to be a grown-up hobby, that's fine. Then we can do that, But I don't think people want that, frankly. I think people want to keep including the younger kids in this game because, they're the lifeblood of it. They're how you get new members. And I think there is a good balance, There is the violence, which is, comic book violence, effectively. It's not overly gratuitous. It's kind of gratuitous, but it's not overly. It's a war game. It's no different to Call of Duty. It's not like the rule book is basically just opening a link to Live Link. Spoiler alert, being someone like me, of my age, we kind of grew up watching the war on Terra in Technicolor. So, most people my age who are active on the internet have seen some horrendous stuff before, we were supposed to. But, That's near, that's why I know that actually there's a lot of stuff you don't want kids to see. And I don't know if it's just Emperor's Children players. I don't think I've ever heard anything from, like, AOS players. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of the Hedonites players really having any acting in this way. I may be wrong. It's simply maybe because I don't operate in the Age of Sigmar sphere, as it were. But I have never heard of fantasy Slaanesh collectors acting in this manner. And it's just a bit worrying. It is just a bit worrying to me, because I love this hobby. I love, I do like the Emperor's Children. I've got a Heresy Emperor's Children army, or the start of it. And yeah, I'm worried about the standards we're holding our community to. And I do believe that it is us as a community that is responsible for this. I don't think GW can do much more than just a strongly worded kind of harumph, as it were. GW... I don't think, a Warhammer is for everyone style Twitter post is really going to help. It's not going to do anything. But we as a community can certainly turn around and say, no, this is totally unacceptable, you won't be posting models like that, or acting like this in our spaces. And I'm doing my part in that, in the sense that I do not allow not safe for work content in my Discord. It's very small, very minor kind of, stance, as it were. But it's what I can do. And frankly, if someone was to post that sort of content, I want to say unironically, as if it, regularly, as if it was their normal thing, I don't think I'd allow it. I mean, I'd probably allow it to be posted for discussion, but it would definitely be, you have to be kind of careful with this. I don't know what else I can really say about this. I think, as a member of the community, as someone who has been... Sorry, I'm really struggling with words with this, because it is just a little difficult to kind of get my thoughts into order. As someone who has been kind of supported by you, definitely, and as someone who is I hate the term respected, but someone whose again, I don't like this word either. A lot of you guys say that you like me and my channel because of that I come across as authentic, that I say what I mean, or I say what's, I don't sugarcoat things. I give an honest opinion, right? That's what I'm trying to say. And I think that in that case, I'm just having to sort of say that I don't think this is acceptable. I don't think this is okay. And I think we need to do much, much, much better in the future as a community. I'm not a prude. I'm not afraid of, a little bit of grimdark. I'm not afraid of a little bit of, weird and wonderful. I'm not afraid of women, and all that sort of stuff. But what I think is an important thing here is that there is a time and a place for, like, sexual content, and the World of Warhammer isn't it. I don't need to go onto my, Warhammer board or whatever and constantly be bombarded with sexual content, basically. You do see it in places like Imaginary Warhammer, the Reddit board for Warhammer art. A lot of the time, a lot of the content is just sexual content, basically. And there is a time and a place for it, and it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, yeah, I mean, those sorts of fan animations, fan art, that sort of thing, it's fine. We're all grown up, or mostly we're all grown up. But we need to separate it away from regular hobby stuff. I think I'm just going to keep retreading the same sort of things here. I hope I've kind of made my thoughts clear. Probably not. My throat is killing me now. My head's pounding. So anyway, I'm going to stop. I'm sure you guys can eviscerate me in the comments for being sad, prudish. I'm sure someone will call me an incel. But yeah. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you saw the alleged Demon Prince model. Or if you've had sort of interactions like this yourself. Alright guys, my name is Bando, this is Brexit Bando. I'm going to go to bed now because I'm tired. Alright, bye bye.